Okay. Oh my gosh. Hello. Welcome to chaos. I just did my laundry, so if you guys live in a small house, you know I had to rearrange my life, so we're filming in a different location today. Hello, how are you? Please yell at me. I have some kind of horrible inflammation in my shoulder and I'm not supposed to be using it. So, if you see me like randomly start talking and then be like it's because I'm trying to remember not to use this shoulder, but as someone who talks with her hands, her whole body. It's been rough. It's been rough. I just took my last round of medicine, so now it's up to me to just behave. So, anyway, what you guys are here for, I have never done this. We are actually coming up on my 2-year booktube anniversary, which is wild and amazing. But I actually in that time have not done a mid-year freakout tag, and so I'm going to do one today. So I pulled up, whoa, what have I done? So this is the first year that I've really used storygraph. You guys know that I do not use Goodreads, and so I tried, but then I just couldn't do it anymore. So this is I tried to find an alternative, and I am using storygraph, and I actually really love it as someone who loves data breakdowns. So I'm going to walk you through my stats. So I have read 61 books so far, which is 25,287 pages. My top are mysterious, adventurous, emotional, and dark, which sounds about right. As you guys know, I don't really read happy books. And then I like them thick. I like books that are between 300 and 499 pages. Then I like them to be over 500 pages, and then just 10% of my books were under 300. And then I only read 3% nonfiction. Oops. Top genres. Fantasy, young adult. Are we surprised? Romance is suddenly making an appearance. Nothing super surprising on here, honestly. It's very, very me. And then number of books and pages, it's kind of wonky. As you can see in June, I am in the middle of a pretty bad reading slump. I think I kind of just broke it. I just read a really good book. And so now I think I'm okay, but I just read one sequel that was hell to get through, and then I read another book that was just blah. So I think I got out though. I think I'm good. Let me pull up the questions. Okay, so here we go. Jumping right in. I don't normally do tags, so this is a new thing for me. Ready. Best book I've read so far in 2022. Okay, this was actually really difficult because I feel like this has been a kind of blah year. So the first book that actually came to mind was Chronology of Water, because it was a style of book. It's a memoir about a woman who was a professional swimmer, and then all of a sudden that was kind of taken away from her, and she talks a lot about all of her addictions, and it's very dark, but for some reason it reminded me a lot of the books that I read when I was more in high school and college that really just kind of hit you in the gut, and the writing is stunning. So that's the first one that came to mind. Also, the most recent book, not to copy Cindy, but the most recent book that I read is actually Notes on an Execution, and that's the book that I think got me out of my current reading slump. Notes on an Execution is told through many points of view, but it mainly centers on this serial killer who is about to be given the death penalty, and it kind of not only is counting down to his execution, but then it goes through all of the women that he hurt and their lives, and even not ones that he necessarily hurt directly, but just every person that he kind of touched. And yeah, I thought it was really interesting, really beautifully done, and so maybe that was just like my most recent read as well. But yeah, I would say Chronology of Water and Notes on an Execution were the ones that kind of stood out as being different and touching in some way to me. Yeah. So the best sequel you've read so far in 2022. So we all know that my life was kind of defined by Crescent City for a couple months. Not that it was the best sequel. It was just one that existed in my life for a long period of time. If you haven't watched my wrap-up, where I explain the whole plot so you don't have to read it, I'll link them down below. But I would say I really loved Vow of Thieves, as I mentioned, but I also really loved Arch Enemies. I think the more that I think about it, the more that I thought that was such a good sequel, because in a trilogy, oftentimes the middle book can be kind of a mess, but I thought that in the trilogy, Arch Enemies by Marissa Meyer ended up being like the best book. Yeah, so yeah, I would say either Vow of Thieves, which was a very strong ending, or Arch Enemies, actually. So, a new release that you haven't read yet, but you want to. Okay, so I actually was supposed to look this up before I started filming, but TJ Klune, author of House in the Cerulean Sea, came out with a new book, and it might not be new anymore. This could be very old, actually. But frustratingly, the premise of his book is the same as a book I was working on. I believe I didn't want to read too much into it because I didn't want it to skew the story I had in my head. But I think it's about a person who dies and then they have a spirit meet them and kind of take them through the afterlife to like where their next place is supposed to be. And I actually worked on that. It was like 2 years ago, I think. And I wrote a significant amount of it, and I kind of had just set it down. Because I came across the word psychopomp, and I was like, what the hell is a psychopomp? I need to write a book about it, simply so that I can use the word psychopomp a bunch. And I really like what I've written, and it's one of those things where if I read his book, I know it's going to really affect what I was working on. So I don't want to read it, but I do really want to read it because everyone says that it's great. So I'm just kind of sitting here. I know I'm never going to finish that story, but there's a part of me that's like, but what if you do? So I'm just having a struggle with my inner demons and TJ Klune. They're fighting. We'll see who wins. I hope TJ wins. But yeah, that's a book that's been on my TBR for a very long time. Most anticipated release for the second half of the year. Oh my god, there's so many. Starting off with the newest announcement, which is Margaret Rogerson's novella, where she's going to continue the Sorcery of Thorns story, which you guys know was like my favorite book. Also, Adrienne Young is going to continue kind of her world, the Fable duology, and then there's The Last Legacy, and now she's going to be writing a book called Saint, which is kind of a prequel to all of her current work and stuff like that. So very excited for that. Once Upon a Broken Heart is going to have its next installation, and then Bloodmarked. You guys know how much I loved Legendborn. If you want to watch, I actually made a video about series that are going to have a continuation this year. You can check it out. I swear to God, Cassandra Clare watched that video and was like, let me make Carrie's video incorrect, because literally like the day after I posted how excited I was that her, like the finale of her trilogy was going to be coming out in 2022, she announced that she pushed it back to 2023. So Cassandra, if you're watching this, don't mess with me. Don't do that. But yeah, in 2023, I'm excited for the next Cassandra Clare. So, biggest disappointment, easy. I think we all felt this. Every one of us who read this book. The Cartographers. What the hell was that book? I'm so upset. The Cartographers has an incredible premise in which it's about a girl who is a cartographer just like her father was, but there was some kind of horrible fight that they had in which he fired her, and now she's like a disgraced cartographer and can only work on like the fake historical maps you can buy at like Barnes and Noble to like put on your wall. And the thing that they fought over was this stupid like gas station map. Like it didn't matter, it seemed very silly. Then she finds out that her father has been killed, and in his hand is that map. And then we start to go down this whole road. There's this mysterious network called the Cartographers. It's so cool. And the ending, the twists, nothing about it was good. Like the romance sucked. The family friends who were there giving her clues to help her solve this mystery. It was so unbelievable. The big twist at the end was absolutely mind-bogglingly dumb. It made no sense, and I was so upset because the cover was great, the premise was great. I loved the details about map making, the whole idea of like phantom towns and stuff like that. So much potential. Most of it takes place in a library. Like, it had everything I ever wanted, and it just wasn't good. I could go on and on and on about the cartographers and how upset I was, but I gotta move to the next question because I'll be here all day. Biggest surprise, just as like jokingly, Heartless. The ending, I'm still shook by it. Like, this is just a simple little YA Alice in Wonderland inspired book, and I can't get it off my mind. So yeah, Heartless took me by surprise. Such a Fun Age took me by surprise, mostly because I went into it thinking it was going to be about something totally different. But if you haven't read it yet, Such a Fun Age is a fantastic book. And then Yoke actually took me by surprise because I, again, had no idea what it was going to be about. And I didn't expect it to contain so many things that I love in it. It made me so homesick for New York City, but then it made me cry, but then it made me laugh. I mean, yeah, Yoke was one that I thought was just going to be a really quick read and just like, brr. But it was fantastic. So I would say, yeah, Yoke was a good surprise too. Newest fictional crush. Okay, I could not think of one, but then I was like, is it weird to say, is his name Jamie from Outlander? The first book I read, I think, of this year was Outlander. And I remember enjoying him a lot. And then I only watched like the 3 episodes of the show, even though the show was great. But the actor for Jamie, yeah. So I would say, weirdly enough, he's the only person I can think of for my fictional crush. And then my new favorite character as well. I think that the issue with the books that I read this year is that I didn't have any characters that really stood out to me and that I loved. But I would say the only person I could think of was maybe Oscar from the Renegades, because he made me laugh a lot. And also, I think the 2 main characters, the boy and girl of Graceling, I enjoyed them a lot as well. So I would say maybe them, but I just haven't had a character that... I've had characters that have really stuck with me, but not ones that I necessarily love. Like, I've read a lot of villain characters this year. So a book that made me cry, Yoke, hands down. Like, lots, in many different ways. Many ways. Yoke just made me cry a lot. I won't get into it because then I'll start to tear up. But yeah, Yoke did it for me. Also, embarrassingly, Crescent City. We're not going to talk about it, but yeah, I did cry reading Crescent City. Book that made me happy. Hilariously, I would say Stalking Jack the Ripper, the last couple of books, made me happy in the way that, like, books that are kind of bad make you happy because they're so stupid, and like every time you turn the page you're just like, oh my god, it gets worse. No offense, we talked about it. I made a whole reading vlog about it. But yeah, Stalking Jack the Ripper was just like, it made me happy in the way that like bad TV shows make you happy. So that's kind of it. I feel like I didn't read any happy books really. I don't know, I didn't have too many books make me happy. Unfortunately, so I'm gonna have to pass on that one. My bad. Oh, most beautiful book you've bought. So I borrow 99.9% of my books from the library, but if you give me just one moment, when I was in Paris, I bought this book from the Abbey bookstore. I bought this book, the Olive Fairy book. Because I just didn't know what else to buy, but I wanted to get something, and this is a collection, so all of these books are different colors, and so they have the orange fairy book and the blue fairy book, but I got the olive one. And this contains work from, these are stories from Turkey, India, Denmark, Armenia, Sudan, and Anatole, France. Yeah, so I bought this. This is my souvenir from Paris, which I'm very excited about. I also bought a new edition of the Cloud Atlas because the physical version of the Cloud Atlas that I have is the movie poster version. I hate it when they put the movie poster as the cover. So I bought one from Shakespeare & Co. It's not like the most beautiful cover, but it at least doesn't have the movie poster on it. So I did buy that as well. But yeah, so I would say that's really kind of the only book and the most beautiful one that I bought. And then books you need to read by the end of the year. Oh my god, my TBR is ridiculous, and a lot of them I did talk about in the like series continuation video, which I'll link here. But I just have too many to name, and I'm having kind of a panic situation in which I use my dad's library card actually to use Overdrive, and it expired, and so he needs to get that renewed, but we also moved, so it's difficult and it's just a mess, and I have all of these books that are about to come in on hold and I can't access them, and I'm a little panicked. So maybe let's not talk about the books that I need to read because it's but yeah, that is, I guess, my mid-year freakout tag. Let me know what you guys are reading, what you guys are reading next, what was your favorite book of the past 6 months. And hopefully we all read. I always feel like the second half of the year is a better reading year. So I think the future is bright. But let me know how you guys are feeling. Have you guys read anything good? And I'm working on a fun little video for you guys that should come out maybe next month. But yeah, I'm happy to announce that I'm 99% sure I am out of my reading slump. And hopefully I can read a ton so that my June wrap up isn't just 2 books. So I will see you guys then, and I hope you're all doing well, and hopefully I can get a little bit more back onto a regular posting schedule. And is that all? Yes. Okay, so I will see you when I see you. Love you always. Okay, bye.